Hi folks, Eddie Lazzari here with Educated Veteran, and what I'd like to do is every couple of days or so, maybe a few times a week, before I wander off into work all day long, what I'd like to do is I'm a member of many online networking groups in LinkedIn, on Facebook, all different places, and they're pretty much, I mean, they're not all military centric. Most of them are, though, military and or veteran centric. And what I'd like to do is capture a few questions that I see pop up quite often amongst these communities, and take a moment, a few minutes, a couple times a week to answer them from my perspective. Okay, so I've got 10 years active duty service. I got out of the military, started my own business. Had some employees, worked in corporate America, worked my way up through individual contributor all the way to hiring manager. Did a lot of interviewing, did a lot of reviewing of resumes. I do coaching and workshops at local universities, and I coach veterans through all aspects of business, from resume writing to personal and professional development, to mock interviews. I've done several of those mock interviews because that's the problem about interviews. Is you go to an interview, you walk out, you think you do well. You don't get offered the job, and you don't know if it's because you didn't do so well or didn't do as well as you thought you did when you were in the interview, or if perhaps you did well in the interview and you just weren't what they were looking for. But you never get the feedback. You don't know. What's nice about a mock interview is I can actually put you through a mock interview over Skype, so I can actually see you. You could see me. I can ask you the same types of questions that you would be asked in a real interview. But then at the end, I can actually give you some candid feedback. Now, there's no guarantees. You may not like the feedback that I'm going to give you, but I'm going to give you the feedback from a hiring manager or recruiter's perspective, which is really the kind of feedback that you want anyway. But anyway, back to my question. So one of the questions that somebody asked in one of these groups, and I'll just read it here: should service members and veterans include military awards in resumes? Now again, folks, these questions that I'm going to propose or read and then answer throughout these little sessions here, they're questions that have many answers because there's many different opinions around it. Every answer or everything that I'm going to give you is my own personal opinion, and it's based off of my actual experience in dealing with these types of things. So service members, they get out of the military, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20 years plus, and they have a lot of awards, and they feel like that's a lot of their accomplishments. Because in the military, in the military, it's very clearly defined what's considered an accomplishment. Obviously, awards are a very tangible way of showing or displaying or awarding somebody for their accomplishments, right? Whether it's a good conduct medal or an ETS award for good service while you were at a particular unit, or it was a National Defense Ribbon or Bronze Star, or whatever the case may be. Those tangible awards are the military's way of demonstrating or showing tangible appreciation for your accomplishments. So it's easy to want to take those same things and transcribe those or put them into a resume when you get out of the military in search of a civilian job. Now, I don't recommend this, okay? I don't recommend listing your military awards in a resume. There's several reasons why. I won't get into all of them, but in short, a lot of the hiring managers and recruiters aren't going to know what any of those awards really mean, okay? They might sound cool. They even look cool. They can even look them up on Google to see what a good conduct medal, it means or what it's for. But it doesn't get into the specifics of why you actually received that award, right? There's the blanket definition of what a Bronze Star is and where it falls within the hierarchy of awards. But on your resume, it doesn't get into the specifics as to how or why you received that Bronze Star, okay? So what I recommend, instead of listing out your awards, what I would do is I would take, everyone should have an I Love Me book, and if you don't, maybe that's something I'll talk about later. Leave your comments below if you've never heard of an I Love Me book. But take your I Love Me book and start going through your awards. and you're looking for the actual write-up, the actual commentary, the script that was written, the actual citation, right, of the award. And what I would like you to do is point out a few tangible things within that citation that could demonstrate, right? That's the key word here. Demonstrate your ability to perform a particular task within an organization. There are things that organizations and hiring managers are always looking for. The ability to communicate, written and verbal. The ability to work well with others. Attention to detail, dedication to your job. The ability to elevate, issues when they arise, but at the same time being able to work on your own, be an individual contributor. Right, so morale and ethics and all these things that companies are really, really interested in. You have to find a way in those citations of your awards to pick out things, right, that are relative to those things that I just mentioned. Those are the things you want to include in your resume. But you wouldn't say, I received 4 AAM or 1 AAM with 6 oak leaf clusters or some crazy thing like that, right? That's just going to completely have no idea what to do with that. The recruiter has no idea what to do with that. And it's wasted space on your resume. Because if you don't know, folks, white space on your resume needs to be managed very, very carefully. You should only have a one-page resume. Every single line and all those white spaces need to be very, very well thought out. Okay, and so by listing just awards on your resume, you're wasting space because the recruiter and or hiring manager won't really fully understand the true value that those awards represent. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So again, just to recap, I don't recommend listing out your awards on your resume. Instead, go through your awards and go to the citation and start pointing out things or start grabbing things out of that citation that can demonstrate your ability to provide value to a particular organization and or position within that job. Those are the tangible things that a hiring manager and recruiter are looking for. I hope that's helpful, and we'll talk to you next time.